Thank you so much for asking about the right foot as well as the left foot. So with the right foot with the bone spur, and especially with it being more towards the back on the side of the right foot, what we're actually working with here is the bladder meridian. So when you think of the emotional correlation to this area here, what it represents is often a rigid emotional defense pattern, and this can be resistant to movement physically as well as emotionally. This could be fear of vulnerability as well as difficulty releasing old pain that has been stored. So the bladder meridian governs the nervous system and the emotional release, so that stagnation here may stem from repressed stress, survival tension, and also control rooted in unprocessed fear. So the right side relates to action and the masculine principles, so doing, achieving, and protecting. So the spur symbolizes hardened effort and suppressed drive, seeking to soften more into flow. So this is what that represents for you on the right side. Now, when we start to think of the left side here, is that it reflects emotional stagnation, and it has to do around self-nurturing, direction, as well as suppressed frustration in life, maybe from trying to take some action and then feeling as if things are not coming to fruition quick enough. So the liver meridian here is what we're working with, as well as the spleen. So the liver governs flow, it governs your vision, it governs your assertiveness, connection to your soul. The spleen also represents grounding and nourishment, cleansing, protecting, as well as some worry that you might hold on to. So when these energies start to actually mix and maybe clash or have some, blockages to them, this is where resentment and self-criticism and over-responsibility can manifest as blocked movement in the foot, pain in the foot, restriction in the feet, right? So it's the body's root of progress. So the left side often relates to the feminine principles, so again, may signal difficulty receiving support, trusting intuition, and allowing your own inner desire to guide action rather than duty and overthinking. So I have gone over what desire really represents, and I'll post that in the group as well, but it might be something to reflect on. Like, what are some really deep desires that you haven't acted on, and what is keeping you from doing so? So to also change some of the rigidity here in the feet, you must relearn how to move with trust in life, okay, and fluidity. So when it comes to certain tough experiences, you have to look at your emotional connection to that. And if you're noticing that you start to go in fear or anger mode, do not act. Allow those emotions to move through and for them to guide and direct maybe what needs to happen. Anger will usually represent some sort of boundary that's been crossed or some sort of inner resentment that hasn't been processed. So don't act from those places. Allow it to show you what the issue is. And then from there, you need to start acting from a place of trust and love instead. So have that as your emotional guidepost. And sorry, when I say need, that's not what I mean, but starting to really represent and understand what emotional state you're in when you take action. Because if you take action from two different emotional places, you're going to get two very different physical results. That is why how we intend, our intentions, our emotions, they are number one when it comes to physical action. It's not just physical action alone. And you will need to take new and different action. So if your pattern is defensiveness, what is the opposite? Openness. So in what way can you start challenging yourself every day to be more open and more trusting of yourself and your own guided direction internally? Because even if things don't work out, that doesn't mean it's a failure. That means you get to learn how to course correct and also catch certain signs earlier so that when you start to see them pop up, okay, this is what happened last time, this didn't work for me, this is not me, so I can start course correcting and changing what is showing up in my life. What we start to see manifest informs us of our actions and quality of actions. If you don't like what you're seeing, then start changing some actions that you are taking and do something new. And of course, we can brainstorm on that if you would like. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, but I hope this resonates and makes sense for you. Thank you.